And the questions that we wrote expressed not in the proper way, and people misunderstand the questions. Therefore, the answers were not really related to the question, and we had a bit of communication issues, that some of us working in the night shift and some of them in the morning shift. So we tried to manage it and put pressure just to finish it on time. Then that's the introduction. I'll pass it on to Fadi to continue showing the results for the survey.
Thanks, my colleague Mohammed. Now we are going to the results of our survey. Just we said we collect 14 responses for our questions, and some of the questions try to compare about Australia and home country. For the first one, about the public transportation in Australia to help to move to the place with you, majority of the participants in the survey said yes, and some of them say no. Yeah, about the second question is that 3 places have told which are good for a holiday in Australia. Some of them sharing about Gold Coast, Tasmania, Queensland, Sydney, Perth, Geelong, Phillip Islands, and Great Ocean Road. Yeah, about the here I try to compare about beach in Australia and home country, if it's you enjoy or not. Some of them said, majority of them said yes, and some of them said no. Yeah, about try to describe the weather in Australia, general. Yeah, we get different answers. We leave it like open questions. We get it crazy weather, unstable weather, bipolar, unpredictables, and the little one just answered is great weather in Australia and Victoria. Yeah, these questions try to show us what's the longest season in Victoria. Majority of them choose it winter, and after that choose it spring, little bit choose it summer, and no one chose autumn. The question number 6 was the animal you have seen in Australia you haven't seen somewhere else. Majority of them going with kangaroo, and some of them going with a koala, and emu, and wasp. Next question. Yeah, the next questions was the multiculturalism you have seen in Australia. It's different question, we get it. We leave it like open questions. Majority of them going with Europeans, after that Indian, Chinese, Middle Easterns, and the last, and diversity is 14% we get from the response. About the financials, comfortable for everyday person in Australia. Majority of them say acceptables, comfortables, very comfortable, satisfy, moderate, and above world ages. The next question is, do you think the wage in Australia adapted for the cost living? Majority of them said yes, and some of them said no. The question number 10 is, what's the retirement age in Australia compared to your home country? Some of them say 65 years in both country, Australia and home country. And some of them say average between 65 and 70 years. And some of them said 67 in both of them. And some of them say it's between 63 and 65. 14% said no idea about that. And 7% said anytime in Australia, and 67% in my home country. Now we'll hand over to my colleague Amal to going with the rest of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just share my screen. Okay. Can everyone see my screen? Hello?
No, can't see the screen.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I don't know. Let's check it out. Is it coming? What's wrong with it?
No, I think we can't even see your lips moving.
Okay. Wait, yeah. Is it now? Right? Okay, cool. All right. So, as a part of our topic, I have just conducted some research on the internet and then find out some questions like it's also just contributing to the topic that what can be a cost of building a new house in Australia. So this is real data from the Statistic Bureau of Australia. So this survey is just there's two data from 2004 and 5 and also from just the recent one 2019 and 20. If you just check it out on 2004 and 5, you find out that the houses are mostly costing on New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland on the top, and the most expensive one are in the Australian Central Territory. If you just in respect to the years of 2004 and 5, and the cheapest one was in the South Australia and West Australia. So coming to the survey in 2019 and 20, we found out that the New South Wales, Victoria and Queensland are in the top with the most expensive in Australian Central Territory, which one house can be cost around $440,000. So if you just compare all the data, it turns out that there's huge increase in terms of costing and building a new houses with in these different states, the New South Wales, Victoria, and Queensland on the top, and the most expensive ones in the Central Territory, and the cheap ones in South Australia and West Australia. It's just the price are increasing but to build a new house in Australia, and it's maybe in the future as well, so it will be stay the same. So coming to next question. So I grab here kind of another question, which is a little a negative review of the how the people trust on the government decisions and the politician in Australia. So there's also data from the Bureau of Statistics from Australia. It shows out from 2007 to 2019, and if you just study the data, it's found out that the people are not very satisfied with the decisions of politicians in Australia. There could be many factors which is contributing to the to this. So coming to final. From our survey, from our presentations, if you just study the whole questions, it turns out that the most of the participants and most of the answers leads to a positive outcome or about life in Australia. From many perspectives, if you just consider the opportunities and employments which is existing for many ages and many peoples, and then the educations. I mean, still, these factors are not still deeply researched and deeply developed to find out exactly to know if the answer is really positive. But still, from our survey, from our questionnaire, it turns out that. I mean, we have compared with the countries which we come from, which is from the which is third countries, most of them, but from deep in the world's class problems, there's a lot of still need. There's a lot of problems still exist also in Australia, and it's very skeptical to make a decision to find out how the life is exactly in Australia. So, like, I mean, there's many examples. I'll just I'll just finalize it with the answer that from this presentation, that we found it out positive that the life is luxurious and good in compared to other countries, especially third countries in Australia. So jumping to the final slide, I'll be happy to have any concerns, questions in this regards. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Just one question.
Yeah, Bitchin.
It's not a question, it's a feedback actually, related to slide number 16.
Oh, slide number 16. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, I think if there was a graph or a chart there instead this table, because the table has lots of numbers, and so that's my only feedback. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's good to show it in different. We can show it in different charts and schedules, but as much as it's going to how to, was it informative or not from that perspective, you consider it. We just have these three information in it, which is the territories which have the high prices, building a new house, the low prices, and the most expensive prices. So that information is very clearly can be found here in this chart, which I also explain it. But we have these territories, so that's why. So, but chart is also okay. Yeah, you're correct. Any other questions? No questions. Okay.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, team number 3. Anne.
Well, first of all, I loved your title slide. Good use of kangaroos at the beginning and end. Like to that. I think it's really good that you talked about the issues that affected your data. You made it clear what your limitations there were. So good for that. The presentation itself, I think some of your graphs could have been, the graph itself was fine, but you didn't make a good use of the space on the slide. Could you bring the PowerPoint back up and just show me, for example, the graph for question 3?
Okay. Question 3.
Yeah, so it would have been back.
Yep. 3. Oh, you didn't have it still. Sorry. Question 3. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot of empty space that you're not using there. So personally, the font should be bigger, easier to read, and that graph should take up a third, at least a third, 33%.
But you know the purpose of presentation is just do not to use the spaces. It's just to have the idea on the slide and just present it by you verbally.
But for presentation things, it's a little hard to see. But if you go to the next one for question 4, that one was much better. Just a bit bigger, a bit easier to see, a bit easier to read. Yeah. And so for me, just some of your graphs maybe were a bit small, making it a little difficult to look at. But other than that, I mean, that was just.
Which one do you find it difficult?
So the one before that and also the one after that, they're just a bit small. So make a bit better use of the space you have. Just keep in mind that what we can see on the other side. So sometimes it's good just to make sure it's a bit bigger, a bit clearer, especially when we have to look to read what the colors mean. So that's just my advice about graphs. Okay. And that's all. Otherwise, good. Adam, what do you think?
Yeah, thanks, Anne. Once again, I really enjoyed the ease with which you passed over to each other, and I think that transition was really very good in this group particularly. I think one of the things with presentations is that some people make decisions on the quality of what's being presented, and they base that on things like spelling mistakes and capitalizations. Now, you may say that's really unfair, that people should make a determination on the quality of the presentation based on those very small things. So I think I mentioned it to one of the groups earlier on as well. Things like capitalizations, things like spelling, etc., are actually very important to give a signal to the audience that this is a very professional presentation and we've considered it very, very deeply. So what I'm saying to this group is you need somebody in the group that is that person that goes through and really sorts out all the spelling and all the capitalization to make sure that is absolutely in tip-top condition. So that's a little sort of challenge for next time for this group. I like the colouring in the slides, and as I say, I thought the transition was really very good indeed for this group. So so well done, thank you very much. And we'll
sorry, just a question. In terms of when you say transition, what do you exactly mean that?
Oh, when you're passing over between yourselves, I thought that was really quite fluid and quite well done.
From person to person or from issue to issue?
From person to person. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for the qualification on that. So the next group is group number 5, and that's Mustafa Afi Anamad. So if you want to share your screen with us, thank you very much. Yes. to group number 3.
Do you hear my voice?
Very good. No problem.
Yep. Hi, I am Mustafa Al-Mashaikhi, the first presenter of our survey topic, time management. Actually, we are group 5, consists from Aufi, Ahmed, and myself, supervised by Ashley Stafford. Actually, time management is the process of organizing and planning how to divide your time between specific activities. Good time means like good time management enables you to work smarter, actually not harder, but smarter, so that you get more done in less time. Even when time is tight and the pressure are high. Our survey participants include several nationalities and social backgrounds. In terms of nationality, our survey sample are, you can say, from Africa, Middle East, and Central Asia. Actually, most of them are from Arabia, as shown in the pie chart. One of the survey questions is to find out the social status of participants. It's clear from the chart that more than half of them are married. Now my colleagues Ahmed and Aufi will talk about the rest of survey. Please, Ahmed, mic is yours.
Thank you, Mustafa. The next question is we asked our participants about their arrival to Australia, when did they arrive. And from our findings, we can see that a majority of our participants arrived earlier between 2017 and 2019. We can see like only 3 of our participants have been living in Australia for more than 7 years, and a majority of the participants arrived here at 2018, which is 4 of them, which accumulates to 30. Next. After that, we asked our participants about their education background. So, assuming that most of our participants are in the program, 80% of them have a partial degree, and 20% of them have a postgraduate degree. So 10 masters and another 10 PhD. Next. So question is about we asked the participants about what they think about their time management skills. So as you can see, like the rating was between 0 to 5. 0 as poor, and 5 was excellent. So only one person like rating himself as excellent. So I need to see that guy because I need how he does it. But if you can see majority like they would rate themselves as 4, which is 54.5% of the whole. And you can see that like one person who rated himself as 2, which is kind of poor. Next. So we also asked our participants about how many hours of sleep do they get like on a daily basis, like considering that they are working like as engineers, which working could take like a lot of time. So the options were like 6 hours or less, 7 hours, and 8 hours or more. So 72.7% of the participants said that they get 7 hours of sleep at least on a daily basis. Only 9.1% of the participants said that they get only 6 hours, and 18.2% of the participants say that they get 8 hours or more. Yeah, I'll pass to my colleague. Next.
So thank you so much, Ahmed and Mustafa, for your contribution just now. And I just want to add a quick one. It's the purpose of this survey. We might just missed it in the presentation, but we aim to understand how our lifestyle affect our time management skills. All of us has different circumstances, the different lifestyle. Some of us single, some of us married, some of us living with his family, and the other just living by himself. So this was a very important indication for us when we thought about our questions. The other thing is whether the time management skills is adaptable or it's not. It's something that we can learn or not. So we add those ideas into our questions, and we conclude that the time management skills are really adaptable. So the next question was about the working shifts preference for the our sample. So we found that 90% of the participants prefer to have morning shifts. Only 9% prefer afternoon shift, while no one want to work at night. Next, Mustafa, please. So for overtime shifts, so we found that more than 54% say they have usually overtime shift. But what's interesting about this information that 54% are all single people. Married people normally tend to not have a overtime shifts. Next. So the contemporary issue now is the lockdown and restrictions due to COVID-19. I would try to understand how that affecting our ability to just live normally and have our time management skills improved. So 54% again believe that COVID-19 lockdown affected the ability to manage their time. And most of these 54% were married people. We thought just about a few reasons, just like homeschooling, having to spend more time with their families, and the other 44% think that the restrictions are not undermining their time management skills. Next. So for our open-ended question, we just try to understand if the participants are using certain tools to schedule their task and the due dates. We found that about half of the answers was no, they don't use any scheduling tool. A few participants just indicated that they use OneNote, Outlook, and other scheduling tools. I just quoted one very interesting answer. One person said that he usually uses a calendar and reminders, but he also had plan B for the critical situation, which is really something that I personally liked. Next, Mustafa. So we try to conclude some findings out of these questions and data. And we find that most of the participants who have been in Australia for more than 5 years use a scheduling tool. And they indicate, or their answer about the rating of their management skills was excellent or very good. And we think that that's because they have more exposure to the Australian working environment. And again, that indicate that time management skills is something that we can adapt, we can learn. Even we haven't used it before in our home countries. Once we fit into the Australian market, I believe we can adapt that very important skill. So unlike single participants, married people tend to not have overtime shifts. And according to the data, both married and single people prefer morning shifts. It was also found those are using scheduling tools tend to have regular sleeping hour, which reflect again the importance of having time management skills to have a balance in your life. And the last point was about the COVID restrictions, lockdowns affect more the married people. And again, I think it's because of they have to spend more time with their families, homeschooling, and also the other related responsibility to their family. Next. And we just finished our presentation. If you have any question, we are happy to answer. Thank you.
Nice. So can I ask a question?
Yep.
So why single people don't like to work overtime, whereas married people like to work overtime?
I think the opposite.
Now, in the survey you mentioned all right, everyone is muted. See you later. Maybe you can't hear me anyway. Okay.
Now I can hear you.
Okay. So why the team is not answering? Anyway, the another question is related to, I think, when did you born slides? If you go back to that slide.
Yeah, 1 minute. Which one, Rahim?
Back.
Rahim, is that?
No, back. The one that's showing which year they were born. 19 something. Before. One more. Yes. So why you put 2013 in the beginning and 2014 to the end, and in the middle 2017, 18, 19? So any reason behind that?
Yeah.
I'm trying to unmute myself. Just if you have another question, Rahim, so I can answer all your questions. So for your first question, why single people like to have a overtime shift? It's not a preference, it's just a data collection. We found that single people tend to have a overtime shift. And we believe that because they don't have like family responsibilities, and where married people have to spend more time with their families and their children. The next question is about years, why they are not arranged. Actually, there is no specific reason. It's just according to when people has arrived to Australia and what's the percentage against the number of those people who arrived in certain year. So there's no reason behind that.
Thank you.
Actually, but also use Google Form. Yep. For this one. Any questions?
Okay, well, it looks like we've answered some questions, so we'll pop over to the panel now, and Anne, for your comments, please.
Hey everyone, nice work, good presentation, some interesting information. Excellent opening slide, really enjoyed it. Really good use of bullet points. And I really like that you had that conclusion where you really kind of summarized your results and you really analyzed your findings and thought about it. So that was a really good slide at the end. But again, same as the last presentation, when you have a white background on your PowerPoint, make good use of the space on your PowerPoint. Make sure the font is big enough. Make sure that your graph is taking up more space. So it's just more appealing to the eye. Some of your pie graphs were maybe a bit small, but overall, good work. Adam? Yeah,
thanks, Anne. Angela, did you have any particular comments you want to make? I saw you chatting away there in the chat. Did you want to make any comments to this group?
Look, I think you all did a really good job and an interesting topic, and I think you all spoke very well and very freely, which that takes a bit of confidence. So well done, and keep practicing that. I think the only area of opportunity for later is one of the survey questions was interesting, right? And this is probably less to do with your presentation, but I find it interesting that you collected the marital status of people, and I think that that's a real that's probably embedded in a lot of different cultural practices, but generally in surveys in Australia we don't collect marital status on stuff that's publicly displayed, so that's more just an interesting fact, I think. And it goes to show how we put together surveys sometimes, you know, in the background, and some considerations when you're putting together things like surveys that you're going to then present back to an audience, as to, you know, what audience are you going to present it to, I guess is my point. So that's always a consideration. Who am I presenting this to? You know, that it certainly helps you also put together a great presentation. Gee, you all speak really confidently. Super proud of you. Well done.
Thanks, Angela. My comments were very much in line with Angela's comments there. You know, I thought the clarity of speaking with this group was exceptional, and I thought it was an interesting topic. I was a little bit lost in the first part of the presentation because I didn't understand how the questions related to the topic. You know, you offered me a presentation on time management, and then we were talking about the areas of you know, marital status and some demographic type data. And it wasn't clear to me until sort of 2/3 through the presentation how those survey questions related to the topic. So I think that's always a good question to ask. You know, does the audience understand how these questions that we're presenting here relates to the main topic? because I was a little bit lost there for a minute. I think you've also got to be careful in terms of using cute images, and Anna and I might disagree on this one, so the panelists may have a fight over this, but cute images and also cartoon images. If you're presenting at work, my view is that they have no place. I've got to say that as somebody who sort of comes out of a business background. So I think in this sort of forum, no problem at all, and it's quite nice and quite cute. But if you are presenting at work, make sure that you keep it really professional, because people may perceive that you're less than professional if you've got a lot of cartoony type images. And I think there were other groups too that use cartoon images, but if it's a work project, I think it should be sort of a professional level. So try and stay away from those cartoony type of things, in my view anyway. So thank you very much, Group 5. Really enjoyed the topic too. Really interesting topic. We're going to move to the last group now, which is group number 1, which is Kevin, Sandra, Haifa, and Milad. And so this is our last group. So take it away, group number 1.
Thank you so much, Adam. Good afternoon, everyone. First, thank you for having us today, and for the EPIC program for giving us this an amazing opportunity. We are group number 1, Kevin, Sandra, Haifa, which is unfortunately can't attend us today for an emergency, and myself, Milad. We'd like to present you today our internet usage survey. Our agenda for today has 3 main subjects. So we will start with the introduction, going through the survey results. At the end, we will go through the conclusion of the survey. First, the purpose of the survey is mapping the service of different internet companies. We are, as Optisman internet service provider, we are looking to mapping the service of the companies to make sure that they are working with the Estonian standards. Moreover, the goal is to improve the service in all companies, to service the community in the best way. First, we would like to understand our survey agenda. So from the survey, we had 64.3% of males and 35.7% of females. And for the age, we had equality. So we have 57% of people who are between 25 to 35, and we have 42.9% who are above 35 years old. Now I'm gonna hand it to Sandra to go through the survey questions, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Milad. Hi, everyone. As Milad introduced us to Optisman service, which is kind of an umbrella for utility companies to look after the consumers and to deal with their complaints, we were able to do this survey to measure the satisfaction level within the participants, as well as to address some areas that need improvement. So we collect some data through a couple of questions, and the first question was, who is your service provider? So our participants showed us the answers, kind of including Dodo company, Optus, Telstra, TPG, and so on, other companies. So next, Milad, please. So the second question was, what is the type of your internet contract? So open contract, it was a huge percentage of our participants related to, about 64%. So the closed contract was in about 14, and interesting fact that 21% of people do not know if they have open contract or closed contract. Next, please. So what is the speed of your internet connection was another question. So we have 14% of our participants stated that they are below 50 megabytes per second, and 57% was between 50 to 100 megabytes per second. And we have 21% stated I don't know, and little bit percentage was just over 100 megabytes per second. So how many hours per day do you spend using the internet? We have 14% of our participants shared that they use between 0 to 5 hours, and between 5 to 10 hours was again a big percentage, 57%, and the last 10 and above hours was 28%, which is so interesting. So people are really using internet above 10 hours per day. So how long have you been with your company? That was another question. So we find out people having a different way of making the contract of their internet with the companies. So 35% under 6 months, and 14% between 1 year to 2 years, and 50% over 2 years. We realized here that people, when they are satisfied with the company, use that first 6 months, they will straight away go to the 1 year or 2 years or over. So that's the satisfaction level can make people say yes to this company and no to others. That's why we find out this kind of analyzing. Next question, please. So we ask also our participants where they use the internet. So mostly they are saying home. So 14 of them, they answer, all of them they use at home. And I think because the COVID-19 make all of us working from home and do all our stuff from home, even schooling. So that give us a very clear picture. And for work, specifically 10 of 14, they are using for work. And for university, we have about 7 participants share they are using for university study. And in restaurant, we have just 2 participants share their view. Thank you. Now I will handle it to Kevin, so he will take us to more data. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for attending our presentation. And I guess to look at how many devices are connected at home and how the internet is used throughout each household for every individual. We can see here that one participant had one device connected to the internet. Then we had 2 participants with 2 devices, 4 devices. We had 2 with 5, 1 with 6, 1 with 7, 1 with 9, and 1 with 10. Then here we asked the participant what are the best things about using internet, and you can kind of fall back to this pandemic that internet does make a big difference, considering that we're not able to meet with family, friends, or even sometimes work. So a lot of usage of internet is used for social connection, staying connected to family and friends, and watching movies and etc. Shopping, for example, click and collect. A lot of the shops were closed. However, you can click and collect, and that's one of the good thing about using the internet. Again, falls back to connecting with family, work meetings, and you can see based on this graph that a lot of connectivity is used with webcam, which falls at 86%, and 14% with no indication of what it's used for. Then we ask our participant from a scale of 1 to 10 how satisfied they were with the service provider that they have. And we had 1 not too satisfied, and 6, 2 users with satisfaction of 6%, then 7 with 4 users 8, 3 users, 9, 4, no, sorry, 3, and 10 with 1 users. Next, please. Then here we ask a participant what's one thing that they'd like to be improved with the service provider that they've got, and we can see here that 43% all considered speed, which is I think everyone can relate to it, that speed has been a big issue when it comes to internet connection, especially when it gets that peak hour, everyone's home or everyone's using it, or in newly residential areas where there's no optical cables installed yet. That really does slow down the speed. We had 29% connectivity. I guess that falls back again to speed, having slow network at home. And 21%, sorry, 21% was connectivity. 29% other, and 7% with the price. Next. In conclusion, we can see that this, with evolution of things, the Internet of Things will eventually improve to the point that we won't have as much problem with connectivity or speed, given that things are improving on every day. So yeah, that sums up for our survey for today and presentation. Thank you. Any questions?
Well done, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good stuff.
All right, no questions? No questions for the last team? No? All right, let's jump in then. Guys, great job. Amazing again. I know it's tough to be the very last one to go, but you guys did a great job. Your graphs looked great. Your use of color was amazing. I thought it was a really good looking PowerPoint. Everyone spoke well, but I just wanted to say, Sandra, you really did, you did a particularly good job. I thought you just had a lot of confidence as you were speaking. I thought that was really good. Just a reminder, avoid blocks of writing, use bullet points, just bullet points, that's all. I was really shocked that there was people who had 10 devices in their house, but then I realized I had 7 myself and I live by myself. So is 10 really that many? No, that was an interesting question. I liked that a lot. Adam?
Yeah, thanks, Anne. What I liked is that this group seemed to have a real warmth about it. All your speaking styles, they sort of complemented each other in that you came across and we felt we knew you a little bit. So really a real warmth with the way you talk. So don't lose that. That's an important thing. I think there were some mistakes in terms of spelling, and one company name was wrong and that sort of thing. And remember how that important that is, particularly with people who have English as a first language. They seem to have a radar for being able to pick up on spelling mistakes. So even though it may be more difficult because English is your second or third or fourth language, an English who is a first speaker will be able to see it like a laser. And even though you think, oh yeah, you know, we spelt restaurant wrong, no big deal, you know, actually it might be to that person. So you've got to think from the audience's point of view. So just be careful that you absolutely make sure that you tighten up on all those areas. I loved the objectives that were very clear to me, and the summary at the end was really clear. So you sort of bookended it very nice. Be careful with the fonts that you use. In other words, you know, the font that you choose. Early on, you were using a Times font, and that means it has little things on it called serifs. And what serifs do in our mind is that it says that this is a trusted document, but it's an older document. And then later on, you use sans serif, which means that you don't have those little ticks on each of the letters. So decide what font you're going to use up front. My recommendation in this area is that you always use what we call a sans serif font. So we know what those are, but stay away from things like Times Roman, because it tends to date a presentation a little bit because it looks like an older document. So that's a sort of an extra for experts little tip I would give you. But I thought this group were really tight and really had a strong presentation here, and good interaction between the group members too. Good good transition from member to member. So thank you very much. I think that concludes our presentations. Now we just need to give you an idea of what we're going to be doing now. I think Ashley, that the team probably need a little break for 10 minutes or something like that. But we've got some more information to pass on, which will probably only take us about 20 minutes, which is a wrap up of the preparatory course, and also a little sneak preview of what's coming as far as the graduate certificate goes. So I suspect, we're bang on 1 o'clock now. Maybe we could give people till, I don't know what you usually do, Ashley, but maybe 10 past or quarter past here. And I'd just like, as a conclusion to this area here, I'd just like to hear from Angela in particular on what she's seen today, as well as a conclusion. So Ashley, the timetable, what are you thinking? 10:15?
Yeah, 15 minutes, I think.
Okay, so we'll come back here in 15 minutes for a little bit of a wrap up. Angela, to you, I just wanted to get your sort of overall impressions of what you've seen today with the group.
I'm pretty thrilled, really. For starters, you clearly have all participated really strongly in this opening program, and I know that you all have various levels of English competency and confidence, but you've all dived into it. You've all given it your absolute very best efforts, and that's all we can ask for is that, what's another one of these stupid, frustrating sayings we use? You grab the bull by the horns. Well, really, you've taken the opportunity and you've run with it. And I'd just like to express my appreciation and thanks to you. And it's been my privilege to watch your presentations. And I'd like to think that already in this short period of time, your skills have developed a great deal. And I can also see some real blossoming confidence in your communication. Keep it up. I understand that the first, 4 months in the job is a challenging time where you're learning how to communicate so often and with so many stakeholders and so many people, but I can really tell how far you've come. So thank you, and the very best of luck for starting your studies next week. You're in very good hands with Rene. He's just fabulous. So I hope you enjoy it. And I understand that it will probably be pretty stressful as well, but I have every confidence that you're all going to do exceptionally well based on what you've presented today and how much effort you've put in. So thank you, and I'm going to see you all really soon.
Thanks, Angela.
Thank you very much, Angela, and thanks for your attendance today. You've got a busy role there, and to take a couple of hours out of your busy day, really appreciated by the group, and the support from LXRP for this group is just wonderful to see, really. So we'll have a break for 15 minutes and then come back, and then we'll only keep you around about 20 minutes. I'm thinking, Ashley, for sort of a wash up of what we've done here. So we'll see you very soon. Go and have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, and we'll see you in 15 minutes back in this room.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Well, okay, Ashley?
Yeah. It's fine. It's good. It's really nice.
That was really, really good. Not nice work on getting them to that stage, and I thought the groups were really well prepared for this, and I thought, generally speaking, the quality was high.
Yes, yes. And I think that's a product of their motivation and also their willingness to kind of choose topics that were interesting to them and kind of relevant to them as well, which I think really helps. Sometimes when you do these EAP style survey, review of data, presentation of data style tasks, it can be a bit dry, you know, like common problems for international students, whereas this was kind of a bit earthier, you know, like why did you come to Australia? Like how much are you using the internet? You know, does being in a relationship mean you're working more or not? Like those kind of questions are really, really cool.
Yeah,
they kind of, I think, yeah, they expanded the boundaries quite well. I thought.
Yeah, sort of true research questions in a way, right?
Yeah. But no,
it's a good activity to choose for this group, you know, and a nice way to wash it up. And I think we should remember that should we ever be doing this again in the future, you know.
Yeah, for sure. But no, they've done a good job, and they were very proactive, and they used the group, you know, the group work time really well, and you can see that. And I think they actually really enjoy getting to know each other a little bit better as well. With the first group, I don't know if you remember what Nabil said. He hadn't actually spent that much time working with Iraqis because he's Syrian. So I think he actually really enjoyed working with Khulud and with Gada. So like that kind of stuff is really cool.
Yeah, breaking down the barriers, one cadet at a time. Actually, this is great stuff. You know.
Well, that's it. I mean, they've probably. I mean, you know, they might have, for various reasons, you know, like the geopolitical situation in the Middle East has always been complex. So they might have different ideas to like each other's original identity, you know, than we might. But I think they can I think the solidarity among the group's really good. They're kind of like, okay, we have this professional expertise and experience and qualification from where we originated. We all share that in common. We all share that we're in Australia and we're all doing this kind of course together as well. I think that's been really nice.
Yeah, agreed. I saw a lot of collaboration and warmth in the group, support of each other. You know, you're on mute, mate, and even something as simple as that, you know, shows support, you know, for each other, doesn't it? You know, that's great. In the section we've got coming up, I've got just a little prelim of the upcoming graduate certificate, probably about 10 minutes or something like that of that, and just some comments generally about the prep class. But I might throw to you to lead off, or do you want to lead off and on sort of a wash up of what's been happening? Would that be something you'd like to do?
With what's been happening with regard
with the class generally, did you want to make any summaries or conclusions? And you know,
I mean, I was going to sort of you know, thank them for their participation in the course and sort of, you know, talk about how it's been a really valuable experience for me and them. I wasn't going to provide any formal input material.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like we've done everything, and you know, and just sort of emphasize that if they have, you know, they can always email me to say hello if they've got any kind of English related academic questions, and I'd be happy to.
Okay, that's generous. Yeah.
Yeah, happy to sort of be around. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna summarize like the last 6 weeks of the course. But yeah, just
okay.
I'm just I'd be happy. Maybe when when we've finished introducing the next stage of their certificate, then we could maybe I could just say thanks and goodbye, and that would probably be an appropriate way to end up, don't you think?
Yeah, no, that's great. So you'd like I'll lead off with the graduate certificate stuff then, the sort of business, if you like. And
the
then,
business side of it,
yeah, that's right. Who knows? And then you can sort of wrap, you know, do a little wrap after that. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Sounds good. All right, well, I'm going to make myself a cup of coffee, but I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
All right, I'll see you in a minute, Ashley. Great. Thank you very much. Bye.
Cheers, guys.
Hi, Ashley. Hi, all.
Hello, Nabil. Do you feel relieved after your presentation?
Sorry?
Do you feel relaxed after your presentation?
Oh, yeah. And thank you for your tips. And
welcome.
Thanks for the EPIC program. It is a great opportunity.
No worries. Thank you for your participation. It was good to meet you all.
Thank you.
I think you guys will do a really good job.
Thanks. You are a good teacher.
Yeah.
Really, yeah, you are a good teacher, really.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Stop it. No, it's yeah, I mean, I'll talk about it more, but a meeting has downloaded. Maybe this will be part 1 and yeah. No, it's and yeah, like I was saying before, I'll talk more about it soon, but this has been it's been a good opportunity for me as well. It's good. It's been very good. Okay.
So a good opportunity for you doesn't mean like you've learned as well?
Yeah. And you know, I've been able to teach some content and some language for a different group of students. We have many different students from many different parts of the world at Swinburne, and Swinburne is a really diverse and multicultural community. But it's not often that these students are all engineers or all have engineering experience or want to be engineers in Australia. Obviously, your own individual and personal and historical circumstances are different to most students, and like that's been really touching and enriching for me as well. So, yeah, you guys are a really unique group of students with a unique situation, and it's just been really good to be a part of that journey, I think.
Oh, that's great to hear. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
No, and like I mean that I mean that sincerely. So, but yeah, we'll talk about that more. Now, due to the length of today's session, Adam, the recording will be split into 2, so I'll have to do 2 different videos.
Okay, no problem at all. I'll look out for it. Thanks. Just give everybody another couple of minutes.
Yes, they're a big fan of coffee and tea breaks, I've learnt. It's a good way to get good feedback.
Yeah. You'd be interesting to know that Ashley, the way we set up the graduate certificate, there's a consultation session with the lecturer every week that the EPIC students can make use of if they want to, but we've sort of designed that around having a morning coffee at the weekend. So it's a little thing that we do. It's sort of become a signature of the program. That you can bring your cup of coffee, turn up and have a chat with the lecturer about anything that might be concerning you about the course or the assessment. And it's just a little thing that we've done. And we sort of, even though it's a bit unusual to ask a lecturer to have some time at the weekend, it seems to have been really popular with the student group.
Yeah, that is interesting. I have noticed that more and more providers are doing things on the weekends. I think lockdowns and things like that can sort of facilitate that a bit better, because the reality is you and I aren't doing much on the weekend on the weekends at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. Look forward to it.
I mean, hopefully that changes, but yeah.
Ash, mind if you send us a link to the recorded videos?
Sorry, Mohammed?
Mind if you send us a video, a link, sorry, to the recorded sessions?
Yes, you'll get a link in your email today. They're just YouTube links. They're actually on my YouTube channel, my YouTube teaching channel.
Well, that's great.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's convenient for you. It's not. It's for education purposes only, so it's not necessarily a fun YouTube channel, but it does include the things that you might want from it. I'm yet to crack the 1 million viewers or the 1 million subscribers though, Adam.
Chip away, Ashley.
Chip away.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
That's right.
Okay, how are we going? Looks like we've got most people in.
They should all raise their hands at the back.
Yeah, good idea.
But I'm not sure how. You just raise your hand if you're there.
That's a good idea. So could we have a hand raising, please?
That's it.
Thanks, Mohammed. Thanks, Kevin.
All good.
Still a couple of people's come in.
It's more than 20 minutes.
Okay.
It's all right. It's recorded anyway, so I reckon we can make a start.
Right, Ashley. All right. Well, this is a little session that Ashley and I are going to run, and it's really sort of conclusion to the preparatory course, and just getting you ready for the graduate certificate and introducing you to the real graduate certificate. So the first thing is congratulations on getting over the first hurdle. Even though this wasn't about assessment, it was about building skills. I congratulate you for getting to a stage where you've done this part of it, and I hope there was something there for everybody. As Angela quite rightly said, people are at different levels, but I think if you take these opportunities to just build your skills, there's always something there. So congratulations on getting to this stage. I think there have been some interesting things coming out of this. To me, what has come across, particularly during the presentations, is that you've all got to know each other really quite well. And what we wanted to do is sort of take a leaf out of the MBA book, where cohorts are tight and they go through together and they sort of have each other's back as they go through. And to me, this was a really important thing. And I think we've done it differently this time around. Instead of messing the preparation classes up amongst the graduate certificate, we've done it beforehand. And I think largely that's been really very successful, and probably made you feel that you know your group really well, and looking forward to the journey ahead that you're going to have. I think it was a really good chance to practice English skills, generally speaking, and also without that being assessed in any way. So it was just a chance for you to build those skills. I hope you enjoyed the guest speakers that we had coming in. I think we had some good people from people from the library teaching you about research, to people like Frederic, experts in referencing and paraphrasing and those sort of things. I was talking about plagiarism to keep you along the straight and narrow, and I think we had Anne come in as well to talk about aspects of presentation craft, if you like. So congratulations on getting to the end of this, and congratulations on your attendance as well. I just want to make some comments about the upcoming main course now. We've had the entree and we're into the main course, which is a graduate certificate of infrastructure engineering management. The lecturer for your first unit, and the first unit is a micro unit. So the first unit is fundamentals of road and rail, and it'll be a 6-week micro unit. The lecturer will be Rene Noguera. Rene is a really interesting character. He's actually got a double degree in engineering and law. And he also has a master's in construction law in particular. But he operates in his day job as a consultant, and in particular consults to V-Line and other people that will need his services. So what we've got here is a practicing engineer who's working at very high levels in rail in particular, but no, has a good background in road as well. And I think you'll really enjoy his way of lecturing, which will be very, very practical indeed. He's also what I call one of our friends of the program. In other words, he really believes in what we're doing here, and what we've tried to do is find lecturers that really believe in helping, giving people a leg up into their professional career. And Rene is one of those. He'll go above and beyond the call of duty to help you both professionally, but also in your studies as well. So I think he's an ideal person to have us lead off in this graduate certificate. You probably feel a bit apprehensive. Some of you may feel a bit apprehensive. You may not have studied for a little while. Could I just say to you that it'll be okay, in that there aren't really any problems that we've come across that we couldn't solve. We've had people with major personal problems that by one way or another we've managed to help them get through. We've had somebody that became pregnant and she managed to find a way to get to the end of the course as well. And so we've had a lot of issues come up, which people have, but it'll be okay and we can help you out. The most important thing, as I think I've said to you before, is resilience. Even though you have those terrible Sunday nights when it's work the next day and you've got an assessment due, we can help you to fix it. You've all got a direct line to me. You can email me about any concerns that you may have. If you have concerns or something is coming up, tell us early is always the best way. Of course, you'll have Joel from an LXRP riding shotgun there, and your lecturer as well. So even though Ashley will be moving out of the program now because his bit is done, you'll still have people looking out for you every step of the way. If I can help at all, I'm the director of this program, and so I can give you the help or direct you in the right way. So ask us early, try and keep that resilience high, and if you've got any problems, certainly let us know. So that'll be who we'll be starting with, Rene. The schedule for the classes has been sent out to you, and the schedule for this time round is Friday, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. So that is when your lecture is. We will be recording your sessions, but it's really important. I'll tell you that the attendance, LXRP, are paying for this. And so the attendance gets passed on to them. That is that you're expected to turn up most of the time.
Sorry, Adam, what's the timing? Sorry.
Sorry, that's Friday, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. will be our lecture tutorial time.
Is it once a week, Adam?
That's once a week for 6 weeks, yes.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. The other thing that we've done, that I was just talking to Ashley about this, that's been a little bit of a signature. We know how important it is, that given your situation in Australia, Some people haven't been here all that long, that you may need a little more support or may have something going on that you need to talk to the lecturer about. So what we do every week, we run what we call a coffee consultation. And we run this at the weekend because we know you're really busy people. And so once a week, Rene is going to be available on a, I believe it's a look at your schedule, but it's, I think, between 12 and 1 o'clock. And I think that is on the Saturday. And he'll be dropping into a session, which will just be a consultation session. You can get a cup of coffee and join Rene and have a chat to him about any aspects of an assessment or any aspects of your course that you're finding difficult, or any aspects about your professional life as well. So this has sort of become a feature of what we do in this graduate certificate. So this won't we won't be starting these until the second week, these coffee consultations. Your course starts, and I'll be really precise about this, next, not Friday coming up this week, but next week on Friday. That is when your course starts. But Rene won't be having a session on Saturday because you'll have just seen him on the Friday. But every week from then on for 5 weeks, he'll be having a consultation on a Saturday from 12 o'clock to 1 a.m. This is in the schedule, so you'll find all these details in the schedule that Joel sent out to you. I think it was 2 days ago. So look out for that email that should have come through to you. Any questions of what I've talked about so far? Any questions?
No, no questions.
All okay?
All good.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to tell you about access. So we won't be accessing these things through Teams as we've been doing so far. That was just for Ashley's part of the program. What we'll be doing is using Canvas, and Canvas is called our learning management system. And in a Swinburne acronym, that's called an LMS. But so you were given a training on this by Jess, who popped in. Another of our guest speakers popped in to tell you a little bit about Canvas. And you should now have access to Canvas. And so the thing to do in preparation for the course next week, the course starting on Friday of next week, is make sure you've been into that Canvas area and make sure you can find the Canvas shell that applies to the unit that you're studying. And this is called Fundamentals of Road and Rail Infrastructure. And it's called, I think it's CSMM 00001. So that's the Canvas shell that you'll need to go into for all your resources and all your learning. A question from Margara regarding, is it mandatory to turn up on Saturday? No, it's not. That's a really sensible question. No, it's not. You turn up there if you want to talk about anything specific to you, but you don't have to. If there's nothing worrying you and you're traveling very well, don't turn up. But if you want to sit there and just come along for a cup of coffee, that's fine too. You can come in and listen to the questions being raised, and some of those may apply to you, but it's not mandatory. Thank you for that question. Very good. So I was just talking about access. You need to make sure that you can find your way to Canvas and that you can find the Canvas shell for CSMM 00001, the unit you're going to be in, your first micro unit. That's an important thing to do. Now, within that Canvas shell, and I'm sure Jess talked about this to you, there's an area called Collaborate Ultra, or maybe it's Ultra Collaborate. And this is where you find your particular session. So it's a bit like clicking into Teams, if you like. So when you go in there on Friday, hopefully you'll be in there beforehand. But when you go in there on Friday, you'll go into the Canvas shell and you'll click on the area which is Collaborate Ultra. And this is how we run a live session, how we run a live class. And Rene will be in there to greet you. He will also have something in there which will be a welcome to the course, and you should be able to start accessing the content of this course early next week. So early next week, pop in there and make sure you can get into that Canvas shell and that you just know where Ultra Collaborate is. So that's the way to find your way in there. So that's the information regarding access. I want to say to you that your supervisor in the workplace has also been sent this schedule. One of the biggest problems we have, you're busy people, you've got a full-time job and you're studying full-time, and you're studying, you know, a unit at a time. I've been in exactly that position. I've been working full-time and, you know, demanding job, and I've been studying toward my master's and my PhD for that matter. So I understand how tricky it is sometimes, and how much you want to please your employer, but also do the right thing as far as your study goes. What I want to say to you is that part of the deal that LXRP make with your employer is that you're expected to get day release for your classes. So you're expected to be released every Friday, in this particular case, from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock to attend the class. If you find that your employer is being difficult about that, then I need to know about this, because as I say, part of the agreement that they have with the government department, LXRP, is to give you release for that class and to give you enough time to study. So if you find this is becoming a difficulty going forward, and we had this case happen last year with the last cohort, and we had to have a frank chat with the employer to say, you realize what your obligations are regarding these students, you've got to look after them. If you have those sort of problems getting released for your class, I need to know about that, and I'll reach out to LXRP and I will fix that on your behalf. I undertake to fix that. Don't worry, it won't get you into any trouble, but it just means that you're able to do your study and work at the same time, and I understand how difficult that can be at times. If you have to miss one of the sessions for any reason, first I would make the point that it's in your interest to go along to every session. But if you have to, you know, if you have an important meeting on or something like that, the expectation is that you would let Rene know that you're not going to be in his class on the Friday. That's the right thing to do, but to do everything you can to try and attend that class on a Friday. Last year we had it across 2 days, but our students told us that it was easier for them if it was just in, you know, one morning or one afternoon. So we've changed it up this year to make that a little bit easier. So so go along to that session, to every session that you possibly can, unless you've got a really good reason, and then let Rene know, because that's the polite and expected thing for you to do. The last thing that I wanted to say regarding the graduate certificate is look after each other. You're a cohort now. The idea is to get your mates across the line as well. You'll be working with each other, as you know, in groups, as you've been doing already. You'll learn to appreciate each other's cultures. And one of the highlights for this morning for me was how you were supporting each other in these presentations, you know, really looking after each other. Do the same, because that will carry you through. You've got an extraordinarily supportive team. Even if you haven't studied for a long time, you've got Frederic in the LAS area. You've got myself at a high level sort of course director perspective batting for you. You've got Rene and other lecturers that you'll have looking after you. You've got LXRP with Joel and Angela looking out for your best interests here. So you've got the most remarkable support team that I've seen put together at a university level. So reach out to us if we can possibly help, but also help each other out if you know, particularly in things like group presentations, etc. So that's really all I wanted to say about the upcoming graduate certificate. and the upcoming fundamentals unit you're going to be into. If you find that you can't get into Canvas and can't get into that unit, I need to hear from you. The other thing that I wanted to say, if I could just have Rasha, Fadi, and Nabil just stay behind after we finish today for 5 minutes, that would be really useful. Thank you very much. So Rasha, Fadi, and Nabil, if you could stay behind, and I'll just have a private chat with the three of you, that would be wonderful. So that's all I've got to say. I'm happy to take any questions that you might have about the graduate certificate, about the unit coming up.
Thanks, Adam. Actually, I have questions like regarding my friend.
Yes.
He likes to join this course. He has offer from government to study like master or graduate certificate.
Yes.
Then when he's also, his background is protection, permanent visa.
Yes.
Then can he join this course with us?
Thank you for that question. It's a really interesting one, and thanks for looking out for your friend as well. We're just talking about that, so thank you for advocating on his behalf. What I've got to tell you is that this is a special course put together by the local government, and you know that you were selected from 100 people. The 19 people on this course was selected out of 100. So and it's paid for by LXRP. So unfortunately, we can't take people who are not part of this program. What I would encourage you to do, though, if he has a background in sort of engineering or a related area, is I believe that the intention is for LXRP to hopefully have another group come through. So what he should do is write to Angela, and you would probably have Angela's or Joel's email. He should write to her and say, Angela, my friend, is involved in this. How can I be considered? Should you have a new cohort starting in 2022? So that's the way forward there, to get in touch with LXRP and just put his interest forward.
Thank you, Adam. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions for me?
Yes, Adam. I am. My name is Sandra. I am on the dashboard of the Canvas, and I am not able to see the unit, which is Fund Road and Rail Infrastructure Engineering. We have just, I'm not sure with my colleagues, just the first one with English title, the next one Canvas support, the other one library. So I'm not sure if the other cadets have this unit, which is the CSM M00001.
Okay, that may be well.
It is still not. It's still not published.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
me too.
Okay. So it's firstly really good that you have found your way to Canvas. So congratulations, that's really good. That's a first good bit of news from my perspective. The second thing is, you're quite right. It's probably there as unpublished, so you can't go into it. So this is the reason for you not being able to go into it. And so what we'll do is Rene is due to publish that on Monday. So just a couple more days. So the thing to do now is make sure you can find your way into Canvas. And then after Monday, check to make sure that it's there, it is published for you, and you can go in there and you should be able to see that. So as you can appreciate, we like to take what we did last time and make improvements to it. So Rene has been making some changes to what he's going to be teaching you on the basis of the experience with the cohort last year, and he just needs a little while to do that. But we like to give you a week before you actually start the course. So he'll be publishing that on Monday, and then you'll be ready for your class coming up on Friday. But that would be the reason.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you. Nice question. Any other questions for me? Okay, very good. Well, that's good. Remember,
one more question. I'm sorry. It's just about the assessment for this units. Are there Is there any, some sort of exams, or it just assignments?
Yeah. Okay. What I will tell you is that Rene, on that very first Friday you get together, will go through the assessments with you. I can give you some good news at the moment, and that is that none of these units have an exam. And for people like me that hate exams and always underperform exams, what we've done is have no exams for any of these units that you're going to be doing for the graduate certificate. The reason for that is that my boss has never come up to me and said, Adam, you're here and you've been working here for 10 years and you're going to have an exam on Friday. In the real world, we don't do exams, generally speaking. So what we're trying to do is replicate a lot of the tasks that you'll be doing during the course of your engineering careers. So we actually use real life tasks, and exams are not one of those, and they call it authentic assessment. And so we believe in the idea of authentic assessment, and I've designed this course to make sure that the assessment types are not exams and not tests, they're authentic assessments. As I say, don't worry about the assessment. Rene will go through this with you on Friday in great detail. There'll be 2 assessments for the first unit, one in about 5 weeks time, and one right at the end of the first unit. So, but Rene will explain those to you when you get into the class. And also, one of the best places to go, as I'm sure Jess will have mentioned to you, is to go and have a look at the unit outline. This is your guide to the entire unit. So please go ahead and have a look at that. The moment you get into Canvas, go ahead and look at the unit outline and go through that, and you'll find there's lots of information there about your assessment task. But Rene will cover that off. Thank you. That's a good question too.
Adam, you hit the nail on the head, actually. I like what you said. Just question, please. Regarding on Friday, so the agreement was to have a full off day just for study. To have one full off day.
Was that a question?
To have off day from work to study. Is that part of the agreement?
My understanding of the agreement is that your employer has got to give you the time off to go to the class. So in other words, that would be to give you half of Friday, Friday afternoon off.
Yeah.
Now, if they've mentioned to you that they're going to give you some extra time to do study, I would say thank you very much. I'll take that. Thank you very much. But I don't believe it's part of the agreement. I think you've got to have time off to study, but I don't believe it's a full day. I think it's the time that the class is on. What I will do, though, is that I will discuss this with Angela and Joel and just find out the answer to that question, because I'm not sure. Yeah.
So Adam, you mean it's different from company to another company?
No, I believe they sign the same agreement, but it could be that one company is just kinder on their cohort than others and may give them some extra hours here and there, or if they've got an assessment coming up. But what we've got to go by is the terms of the contract. And so what I'll do is have a chat to Angela and Joel, but certainly I can guarantee that they've got to give you off the time to attend the class. So in other words, Friday afternoon, they would have to give you off at the very least, and that would be in the contract. That's what they're contractually obliged to do. Once again, there may be an important meeting that you need to attend, and that's fine too. You just tell Rene, and that would be good. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Sorry, Adam. Last question.
Yep.
If someone wanted like some elective subject to incorporate in this course, like bridges design.
Yes.
Is that possible?
Yeah. Once again, this course of study has been put together to turn you into an overall expert in infrastructure. So in a way, it's a bit like a master's, an MBA program, where you do a bit of HR and you do a bit of marketing and you do a bit of management. So this is designed to give you a really good overall understanding of the infrastructure sector. And the reason that it's designed like that is so that you can be employed in infrastructure, despite the fact you might be an electrical engineer, for instance. So there aren't any that you've got to do all the units in the course. So there are no electives whatsoever to complete the graduate certificate, because it's got to meet what the engineers tell us they need in an infrastructure engineer. So you've got all the component parts of doing this. However, having said that, there's nothing to stop you individually finding a unit that you want to do. And as long as you have the prerequisites to do that, you could go in and do that. You talked about bridge construction here, but you'd be enrolling as an individual unit and you'd be paying for it. So I know that our engineering department here at Swinburne has a wonderful array of courses. It's one of the areas we specialize in. So you could also enroll in that one if you wanted to, but you'd be paying for it yourself. Now, when you come to the end of the graduate certificate, you may decide that you want to push on and do a master's. To give you, an even higher level qualification. You may have had enough of study and you may not want to do that at all. But if you did want to do that, there are special provisions that we make to give you credit into our major engineering masters. And in probably about 10 months time from now, we'll have experts in that area coming along and giving you a presentation of what you could do next. And certainly there would be elective units that would come out of that. So no, all the courses, all the units in the course of graduate certificate, infrastructure engineering management are important courses, and they are compulsory courses. So thank you very much. I've got a meeting at 2 o'clock, so you're going to have to excuse me in 1 minute's time. But before I leave, don't forget you can get in touch with me at any time. I wanted to finish what I had to say by talking a little bit about the preparation class before I go. When I met Ashley, we'd never worked together before. He said that he'd be really keen to work with a different group of people. And do you know what? I'm patting myself on the back at the moment for the Ashley coming into this program, because in my view, he's made a really good job of this. He's been dedicated. His preparation week by week has been excellent. He's the reason that I pass on these resources to you. It's Ashley doing this, not me, not Joel. It's Ashley doing these things. And I think, as I saw in the chat going through this, his encouragement of you and your building your English skills has been quite exceptional, really. So I just wanted to leave by saying to Ashley, thank you for being part of this. Thank you for being a friend of the program, which I think I can give you that status now. But Ashley, you've been a joy to work with, and I think these students have really enjoyed what you've done here. So from the sort of a graduate certificate perspective, I just wanted to thank you for your dedication and encouragement of these students. Awesome job, and it's been a pleasure working with you.
Thank you. No, thanks.
It was
thanks.
great to meet you here.
That's really amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing.
No, yep. No, thank you. I've said this a few times to Adam, and I've said this to you guys as well as the students. This has been a really fun experience. It's been a really enriching opportunity for me professionally. I can only hope that it has helped your confidence with your own proficiency in English language, which I've been very impressed with throughout the program. I'm really confident that you guys will do a really good job in your professional lives and in this graduate certificate program as well. And I've seen that with your presentations. I've seen that with the way you communicate. I've seen that with your collaboration. I've seen that with your teamwork, and I've seen that with the way you sort of speak to each other and the way you listen to each other and the way you respect each other's similarities and differences. It's been a really lovely experience. Look, I'm really sorry we couldn't meet in person. It would have been really nice to have, you know, pizza and coffee and walk around campus and chat about life and stuff, you know, at the Glenferrie campus. But I think we've made a really good compromise by doing this on Microsoft Teams. And yeah, and I know online learning isn't perfect. I know it can be a little bit, it can be a bit annoying sometimes, and there can be some problems, but I think you've embraced those challenges really well. And I'm really proud of what you guys have been able to achieve. So yeah, please stay in touch. You can always send me an email. You know what my email is, but I'll put it in again. You can find me on LinkedIn, or you can send me or you can send me a message on Microsoft Teams. If you have a question or if you would like to say hello at any point, my door, my Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Outlook door is always open to you. I can always put you in the direction of other resources as well if it's going to help your English language development. So yes, while I won't be, you know, your direct teacher for the next bit, I am still, you know, I'm still available to you. So please get in contact with me if you need to or if you would like to. But yeah, like I said, thanks again. It's been a really great experience, and I wish you guys all the very best.
Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you so much, Ashley. And for sure, we will meet in face. I hope when we have any open day in the uni or they make anything, you should come and try the traditional food. So
oh, of course,
I would
love that. I would love that. And I'm sure you guys would show me all the good places to eat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your support. We're awesome.
You're welcome. Anytime, Sandra. Thank you.
Thank you, Ajay.
No worries. No worries.
I think Eva has something to say.
Sorry?
I think Eva has something to say. She raised her hand and...
Ah, yes. Okay. If someone has something to say, then yes, I can. Eva, did you have something you wanted to say? No?
Sorry.
Maybe
putting her in the spot. Sorry.
Maybe you've put Eva on the spot, Mohammed.
Yeah.
Ashley, just Adam said he wants to talk with us, Rashad, Nabil, and I, but I don't know Adam. He left the meeting.
Yes, he did. Don't worry, I will remind him.
Okay, so you wait him in this meeting, or?
No, don't wait in this meeting. I will send him a message, and I will get him to contact you. I think it will be. It's about what we talked about last week.
Yeah.
So he'll have some news for you about that, I think.
Yeah, we also wanted to talk to him. So if you remind him, that would be appreciated.
It will be the first thing I do when this meeting finishes.
Thank you, Ashley. That's great from you, as usual.
Yeah, and we prefer to talk by the meeting, by Microsoft Teams meeting, face to face, like face to face, better than email.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I'll pass that on.
Thank you very much.
No worries. All right. Well, look, that's it. We're done. We're finished. Woohoo! Congratulations.
Thanks, Ashley.
I'm really proud of you guys, and I'll miss you. It's been a nice change, but I'm also really confident that you guys, you know, you'll do a really good job with whatever it is that you decide to do.
Thanks, Ashley.
Thank you.
It was really nice meeting you, and I like the top that you are wearing today. I don't know, I've noticed if you wore it before or not.
This I bought from a vintage clothing store.
Yeah, it's nice. It suits you very well.
Thanks.
Appreciate
That's
your
my hair.
effort. Appreciate your effort and also time. And I wish you all the best and hope we can see you again.
I would love for that to happen. Yes, you too. Thank you, Rahim. Thank you for your contributions. They have always been interesting.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay,
All
bye.
right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. See you
All
all.
right.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Ashley.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Thank you, Ashley. Bye-bye.
Okay, cheers. Bye. All the best, guys.